Damn CT guy coming at you with another video. This time you have this beauty right in front of us. This is my 300 blackout upper on my pistol lower. As you can see, it is in a pistol configuration. So the story on this, I actually made this lower receiver, and I was doing really nothing with it, and we're talking, this is right around 2013, 2012. Actually, it was 2012 that I made the lower receiver. And then after Sandy Hook happened, I actually had to register it as an assault weapon because it was just a lower, and I actually put a serial number on it, and then I actually registered it. So what happened was that when I made this, it was just the receiver in white, or it wasn't anodized. So what I ended up doing was sending it off, because I actually worked in the firearm industry at the time. I sent it off, and then I had my initials engraved in it as the manufacturer. I also had it engraved pistol, and then the model AW15. I did this because I had to register this thing as an assault weapon. So after our assault weapon ban went into effect, and we had to register our firearms as assault weapons, I actually had this engraved with the serial number so I could register it, and I put pistol in it because I wanted to make this into my pistol lower, my dedicated pistol lower, even though it doesn't really have to be. That's what I wanted it to be, and I registered it as an assault weapon, so it's all set to have it in this configuration because it is a CT registered assault weapon. Well, unfortunately, I don't like that I had to do that, but it was one of the things you had to do back then. So any of your AR-15s, if you wanted to play it safe, which I needed to because I was in the firearm industry, like I said, I didn't want to lose my job for violating any firearm laws, so I had to go ahead and get it registered. But anyway, that said, this is my 300 blackout configuration upper, and again my pistol lower. This is the Samsung Evolution 10-inch series, or Samsung Evolution series 10-inch free-floating handguard. Pretty nice handguard. I think this is the mid-length configuration. When I bought this, I didn't want to go over the 10-inch barrel. So the barrel is a 10-inch barrel. I think it's a 10.5-inch, I believe. Let me think here. No, you know what? I think this is the 8-inch barrel. This is an 8-inch barrel. We're going to get to this in a second, the reason why that 8-inch barrel thing is important. I got some cheap sights on the front, but these work. I'll show you. They're pretty standard sights. I mean, they look pretty decent, but they're just some flip. You have to manually flip this one. And then I got this plastic sight on the back. And then this one actually pops up if you push it. This is a cheap sight too. I can't even remember, to tell you the truth, where I got that from. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, no, you know what? I think it's cheap Chinese Omega. I think it's called Omega. It's an Omega rear sight. This is a CAC Industries buffer tube and pistol buffer tube, and then this is the Shockwave. As you can see, this is one of the original Shockwaves. I bought this back when they first came out too. This is a pretty cool grip. This actually can be adjusted. As you can see, it's not like straight up and down like a typical one. It's canted. Now there's a screw in here, and there's multiple holes in this block here, and you can actually adjust where you want it based on the screw holes that are in the block. Really cool, nifty pistol grip for sure. All the standard other things. I don't have any extended, you know what. This is a chrome trigger, which is pretty neat. I have the mag pull sling buffer tube adapter plate here. Nothing crazy. I found a bunch of slings online. Yeah, I like single point slings. I'm a real big single point sling guy. I don't know what it is. I see a lot of people rocking the double, but I like the single point slings. On this side, you can see there's, again, nothing too crazy about this. You know what? Let me see if I can get the name of the company that made this grip for everybody. Let's see. Let's see if we can get a close-up on that. So it's an X-Tech, or X-Tech Tactical. X-Tech Tactical. Wow. I don't even know if they're in business because you have to say that 2 times fast and you'll trip up. X-Tech Tactical, or X-Tech Tactical. Boy, I should just delete this video now. Anyway, I got this, I believe I got this as a sample at a firearm trade show. I think everybody might know it, the NRA convention. I got that there. Somebody wanted me to try it, and I was like, okay. You know, it's cool. You go to those things, you strike up a conversation with somebody who's part of the company, and you become friends with them, and they say, hey, you know, let's go out for drinks, and then they give you something, you know, to try. A lot of that going on. Got a lot of free stuff when you go to those places, especially when you're in the industry. I have a flared out trigger guard, and that's by Magpul. So pretty cool. I love these rails. These are really, really nice handguards, free float rails. I love them. They're very nice. And as you can see, it floats the barrel really nicely. On this configuration, yeah, I have a standard, let's see, it's a pistol length gas system in here. So I have a pistol length gas tube. Typically when I do that, I like getting the pigtailed gas tube. It's a rifle length gas tube that's pigtailed to your well, you can get them in carbine length. I believe you can also get them in pistol length. I have another upper that I have in pistol configuration, very short barrel. I think it's a 7.5 inch barrel, and that one I have the pigtail on, and I can show you guys that in a few. So what I wanted to really talk about was this Spikes Tactical Barking Spider compensator, or muzzle brake, or whatever it is, flash hider / muzzle brake. This thing is a beast. It's awesome. It's quite big. I would estimate it to be about 3 inches long. This unscrews right here, and I'm not going to do it, but it has a cone inside here. Don't worry, I already safety checked this thing. There's a cone inside. If you want to really get more details and see how it breaks down, I would go online. It's called Spikes Tactical Barking Spider 2. I have it with the flash hider prongs on there. You can actually, comes with just with this, like there's no spikes, it's just a flat part there. Couple configurations, it gives you the stuff for it, and they actually have another adapter that goes in there that has a whole bunch of holes. I can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty neat. So anyway, yes, this is a Spikes Tactical Barking Spider 2. This thing is really neat. I love this brake. It's hard to describe. It really pushes the sound down range, and that makes it so it tames the sound quite a bit, and it also kills the flash because of the prongs here. It's really great shooting the 300 blackout with the Spikes Tactical Barking Spider 2 compensator. Check it out. That's what I want to shoot in this configuration. I want to take this thing out. I've shot this before, but I want to do it on the video and just, you know, describe. Maybe you guys can hear it and take a look at it while I shoot, and we're gonna test it out together. And actually, I've never used this upper on this lower, the pistol lower. I actually have an SBR, registered SBR, lower receiver, and I've been typically using my short barrel stuff with that, you know, with the 300 blackout upper mainly, and then I also have a 5.56 upper I keep on there as the permanent host for that lower. Anyway, and this is the ammo we're going to use. I believe this is LAX ammo. This is 147 grain, which is kicking out pretty fast. I got that at LAX. That is laxammo.com. Oops, sorry about that. 147 grain, and I believe that's their reloads. I have no issue shooting reloads, by the way, so hopefully nobody else has a problem with that. This is a factory ammunition. Let's see if we can get that in. AOI is the stamp 300 BLK. So this is not resized brass, repurposed 5.56 brass. This is actually made for the bullet. This is a 120 or 130 grain bullet on there, subsonic, and this is the supersonic load. I also have some RIP loads, but I'm not gonna shoot those. Those are very expensive, and those are going to be more for home defense purposes. I'm going to open this thing up and show you the trigger, and I'll show you my other pistol upper that I use for comparison. Alright, so here's the 7.5 inch 5.56 upper. This is a 223 Wild barrel. I think it's a Chinese barrel. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. It's a 223 Wild caliber. Pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah. Here, I'll show you. Let's see if I can get it in here. Sorry about that, guys. .223 Wild. That's my YHM flash hider, bayonet lug, you know, standard front sight, and there you go. There's the pigtailed rifle length gas tube pigtail down to pistol length configuration. This is just part of a handguard, since I was having a hard time finding a free floater that was that short. I can't remember the company off the top of my head who makes these. Oh, Hogue. This was a Hogue free-floating handguard, but this is basically your barrel lug, or your barrel nut for your free-floating part. You can see inside there's threads. This actually, there's a free-floating piece that goes right on here, and that's what causes the, you know, say you have a rifle length configuration upper, that is the bottom piece, and then you have the free float handguard on the front. But since this is such a short configuration, I needed to just use that, and it actually works out great. It's stippled for a grip. I mean, it's a very small grip, but anyway, this is a, I think they call this an A2 upper receiver, standard with the rear sight built in. This is the only upper that I have in this configuration. I actually found this upper when I was working for the firearm industry. I'm not going to say what company, but I was working for the firearm industry, and this upper was actually going to be tossed. And what I ended up doing, because it was stripped and it was dusty, it was old. We never at the time were using these types of upper receivers. So anyway, I actually installed the rear sight on this thing myself, which was pretty cool. At first I didn't think it was going to work, but it did. And I don't even honestly know if that rear sight's even supposed to be for this type of upper. I'm not sure. So anyway, this is not the whole reason of the video. I just wanted to show you guys a comparison. So this is the 8-inch barrel, that's a 7.5-inch barrel. Not too much of a difference. I mean, you got about an inch difference. But this looks super long because this is a 10-inch rail, and then you have your another 3-inch muzzle brake. So the barrel ends in here, and then I screwed on this muzzle brake, which is about that big. So it's going to be interesting and fun to shoot 300 blackout with the Barking Spider in this configuration. I'm not shooting this tomorrow. I don't really like shooting this too much because, as you can imagine, it's pretty freaking loud. I mean, flash hitter doesn't do much. Seeing what kind of bolt carrier I have in there, I couldn't remember which one I put in. This one has the nickel boron bolt carrier in it, and that's right, actually I said this was a chrome trigger. This is actually nickel boron trigger. That's what it is. And short story on this, this trigger group is a standard Milspec trigger group, but I went through so many hammers, springs, disconnectors, you know, you name it, pins. I went through the gamut to try to find the perfect Milspec trigger, and I did with this. This is, let me see if I can do it. I don't really want it to slam, but there is no take up on this. There's nothing. I'm going to just press it lightly. Break. There's no take up on this gun, or on this trigger at all. I love this trigger. So I took a lot of time to try to figure out, I went through a lot of parts to try to figure out what the best Milspec trigger is, what you can get. And this is like hits like a stone wall, a brick wall. You're like on it and then it breaks. I love that trigger. The rest of the triggers I use in my ARs are all like aftermarket triggers that you get, like, you know, fancy expensive triggers. I got a few of them. You know, they're nice, but it's nice to have something in a regular configuration. So typically I have this upper on this lower, and it looks quite cool with it. But yeah, maybe I'll do a video and take that out. And if you guys ever come across an extended safety, I would suggest getting it. These safeties are much shorter, and that's how most lower parts kits are coming these days, with a very short safety. They actually have some, I think Anderson, I think Anderson Arms, I can't remember what it's called, or Anderson Manufacturing, they make an extended safety. It's just standard. It's slightly longer. I love those safeties. So if you find them, definitely hop on it and grab them. So let's go out to the range. Let's test out this bad boy with this bad boy, not that bad boy, with some of this bad boy ammo. And let's see how it goes. Let's have a good range day. A damn CT guy again, back at the range. Like I said, we're going to test out the 300 blackout platform. We're going to be shooting subsonic and supersonic ammunition. What we got in here right now is going to be the subsonic ammunition. We're going to start with that. And my trusty pistol build, I went over it. We're going to test the Spikes Tactical Barking Spider 2. I'm going to give it a few shots, and we're going to see how it runs. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. Don't mind my sagging pants. I have like 4 or 5 magazines plus a box of ammo in there. So here we go.
quite loud. Barking spider worked just fine. I knocked down 2 of my really decent plates with that shooting, so that was fun. So now I got to go back there in tick-infested woods and put my targets back up. So let's test out the 147 grain next and see how we do with that. Should be slightly louder. In a platform like this with a 10-inch barrel, it's going to be quite loud, and there's no way really around it, because you have so much pressure going down the small barrel, kind of like how pistols are super loud, you know, same concept. So I have a target, a huge steel target, really thick, big steel target out at, well, that one is about 75 yards as well. It's rectangular shaped, and I'm going to hit that for this 20 round magazine, or 20 rounds in this 30 round magazine. I'm using PMag, Tapco, and I have this really cheap Canadian 20 round magazine. All declared magazines, don't worry. Let's give this a shot. This is dead on. You just hold the front sight at 6 o'clock and you're tanging it every time. So the only downside, and I want to mention about this, is this is loose. Now if you're not careful and you're not aware of that, that could go down range with your round. So that's the only downside. I'm not a huge fan of the AR platform. If anybody knows me, they'd know that I'm a bigger fan of the AK-47. That's why I got a couple of them, and may even get another one soon. But it looks like everything held up on this. The pistol length gas system, flawless. The only downside again is this. A little hot, but it's loose. Everything else on the rifle stayed pretty tight. So yeah, I like this little platform. I haven't taken